What's up, everybody? It's Jason Cruz here once again with another episode of The Legal Submission. And following up last legal submission in which we talked about the Janel Grant, Vince McMahon lawsuit and McMahon's motion to compel arbitration, we get a filing from Thursday, May 2nd by co-defendant John Laurinaitis. And he has also joined in Vince McMahon's motion to compel arbitration, and he adopts all of the arguments set forth in McMahon's motion to compel. It would seem that Laurinaitis has now flipped and sided with Vince McMahon. We recall in early April that John Laurinaitis' attorney claimed that the former WWE exec Laurinaitis was also a victim in this debacle or this dispute, so we shall say, regarding Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. The complaint by Grant, just to refresh her memory, she claims that Vince McMahon sexually abused her and sexually trafficked her out to other individuals within the WWE. Laurinaitis was one of those individuals cited in the complaint, in which she said that she was forced to have threesomes and also meet up John Laurinaitis to have sexual relations from the command of Vince McMahon. So what does that say about Laurinaitis and his belief that he is a part of this lawsuit, and whether or not he and McMahon are on the same page when it comes to the Janel Grant case? It could be that Laurinaitis is just seeking a way out of this litigation, and the easiest way out is to side with McMahon and his attorneys and his PR front to get out of this case as soon as possible with little to no reputational damage to his own self. Obviously, the damage is probably already done, but at least more details will not come out of the case in open court. From McMahon's perspective, it's helpful that Laurinaitis does become a part of the lawsuit simply because they are joining together to enforce the NDA, and both sides will be willing to adopt the facts of the case according to McMahon. So they're emphatically denying that the allegations that Grant stated in her lawsuit were true. Now, obviously, ganging up on one individual does not connote a culpability, liability, or that the plaintiff is not telling the truth. It does help as far as getting these stories correct when prosecuting this case, or when litigating this case, excuse me. For Grant, it doesn't really do too much. You could kind of see that Laurinaitis was going to move this case to arbitration. Based upon the allegations in the complaint, he does not want to have this information to go out into open court with her testimony or any witnesses' testimony. He will obviously defend himself and deny what went on in those pages of the complaint, but under arbitration, this is a private setting and probably less eyes on the case. And again, with the public relations machine that McMahon has hired, they can create their own narrative regarding this story. Now, one of the other things that's happened in this case is that Janel Grant's attorneys have filed a motion to strike statements made by McMahon in his preliminary statement for the motion to compel arbitration. From Grant's perspective, it took shots at personally Janel Grant, her family, her ex-fiance, and you can argue, if you are Grant's attorneys, that none of that information cited by McMahon in his motion and in the preliminary statement does anything to further his defenses in this particular case. Now, obviously, McMahon wants, if this is litigation, so obviously they play a little dirty. That's what happens in litigation. Whether or not the preliminary statement is stricken really has no bearing on the litigating this case, aside from the fact if McMahon was going to utilize any of that information. Now, court still has to rule on that. Grant's attorneys have just requested an admonishment, just a warning, and striking the preliminary statement from the record, which really, doesn't do much since we've already seen it. So that's where we're at right now. McMahon can respond to the motion to strike. We'll see if he does. He probably will, since this is litigation and they want to fight every angle that's going to happen. But the bigger one is the opposition to the motion to compel, now with Laurinaitis siding with McMahon. So we'll see how what transpires there. Jason Cruz for the legal submission. Have a great day.